All right, welcome back. You're still watching Prime Morning. It's Jay here. Now, lovely performance there by Perez, and Rosen, we're back in here again with him, so stick and stay. But it's World Glaucoma Week, and the World Glaucoma Association globally serves or sets this week to creating awareness on glaucoma. Have you had your eyes checked recently? Well, if you haven't, this will be an ideal time to do that as well. Now, we are putting a spotlight on childhood glaucoma and preventive measures. Now, this morning I'm joined by Dr. Daisy Isiamasare. She's an ophthalmologist at the University of Ghana Medical Center, and also Dr. Kusamensa Bonsu from Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Ladies, you're welcome. Doctors, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I know the smile is on there. Yes, we have relationship way back. It's good. So let's start off with understanding. In fact, we'll talk about the week's celebration and everything that's lined up as well in Ghana. But let's start off in understanding what glaucoma is in the first place.
So, to put it simple, glaucoma is damage to your optic nerve, and your optic nerve is what enables you to see. And this damage is caused by high pressures in the eye that compress the nerve and cause it to die slowly. So when it dies,
Repaired.
yes, it can't be repaired, it can't be replaced, so it has to be protected. Your optic nerve shouldn't die. So when the pressures go up, gradually a lot of the fibers of the nerve die.
Okay.
And then finally you go blind.
When you say the pressures, which pressure are you referring to, and where is it from? Sorry, we are going to be in a layman's understanding. Yeah.
So the pressure, we say intraocular pressure, the pressure inside the eye. So on a normal day, you have fluid in your eye that is supposed to nourish the eye. It's being produced and it's going out as well at the same rate. So when it can't go out due to maybe an abnormal way in which you came out with your eye, then the pressure builds up in the eye. So it's higher than what the nerve can sustain, and then it starts to kill your fibers. And the bad thing about it is that it affects the fibers that affect your peripheral vision. With your peripheral vision, I mean, normally if you walk, you look straight ahead of you. You don't look to your side and side, so you don't notice that you are losing your peripheral vision till it's too late, and it affects your central vision, and then you go blind.
Are there any types of glaucoma? Are there types of glaucoma?
Yes, so there are types of glaucoma. We can have primary and secondary.
Okay.
So secondary is, of course, when it's caused by something else, and primary is when it's really from you. So there's really no known cause for the primary. So like Akosia said, glaucoma has become a public health concern because over the years we've realized that it is becoming more, and then it's irreversible. Okay, so example, if you've lost 50% of your nerves already, when you come to the hospital, we cannot get the 50% back for you. What we can do is to make sure that the 50% you have left can take you to whenever you are called. Okay, so that is why glaucoma has become important. And again, Ghana is ranking in Africa, apart from when it comes to the prevalence or statistics. Yes, I was happy when the Prime Minister for Barbados came. The only thing she didn't mention was glaucoma because they top us only in glaucoma.
So when you say Ghana is ranking, you mean ranking in terms of
the prevalence, the number of cases of glaucoma.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, then that's.
Yeah. So we are topping in Africa, and we are second to Barbados and St. Lucia worldwide. So it's become a public health concern.
What is the reason for this prevalence you speak of? Like, what is happening?
So currently we are even doing a research on the genes that probably cause glaucoma in Africans. So there's an ongoing research at Kolebu, St. Thomas Eye Hospital, Emmanuel Eye Hospital, Coco Clinic, where we screen you and we do the glaucoma test for you for free, but we take a little blood sample so that we get to the bottom of the problem. So
who are likely to be diagnosed or who are likely to get glaucoma from age and gender?
Okay, so there have been various studies. First, people had female preponderance, and other studies have talked about male preponderance. But basically, there's no gender when it comes to female or male. Everybody is prone to getting glaucoma. So it's genetic, like Akosia said. So we say it's hereditary. So you can't say that maybe I'm eating something, so I'm going to get glaucoma, or I'm in a particular weather, I'm going to get glaucoma. So we have what we call risk factors for getting glaucoma. So among all the problems Africans have, being an African is one of the risk factors of getting glaucoma. Yes. And then again to family history. So if you have a family member who is blind from glaucoma, or maybe who is just blind, you may want to find out what caused the blindness, or if you know that you have a first degree or second degree relative who has glaucoma, you'd want to have your eyes examined for glaucoma.
Are there any activities that we get into that can actually trigger glaucoma?
So not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, they are the risk factors like Daisy mentioned. Once you reach a certain age, people above the age of 40, you should have your eyes checked to make sure that you don't have glaucoma.
What about in kids? I mean, I know it's not bound to any particular age bracket, but when it occurs in children, is it any different than what happens with adults? And I'm wondering, that's why I asked a question about activities that might trigger, glaucoma.
Okay, so, but in children, let me say the good thing about it is that they are symptomatic. So with children, you would notice it can happen in newborns. It can happen within the first year or the first 3 years of life. So you would notice that they have tearing. That is, their eyes tear a lot, but the eye is not red, but it's just tearing. And then they can't stand the light. Then and also what we call the cornea, the black part of your eye starts to become white, and it's not clear. And the eye starts to bulge out in the late stages. So you see these children with what we call ophthalmic eyes, like a bull's eye. The eyes bulge out. So any children with such symptoms or signs, they have to be seen by an eye specialist.
I was just coming to symptoms as well, and maybe we should just go through step by step again. What are the very early signs? When should a parent see? What should a parent see in a child, or even the parent themselves or adults, to start worrying about glaucoma?
Okay. So for adults, it's worrying because it's asymptomatic. So it's not like the typical malaria. In Ghana, when you have bitterness in your mouth, fever, chills, it's malaria until proven otherwise. Yes, it doesn't happen like that. So that's why family history is important. That's why we are advocating that everybody gets screened. You see, because like Akosia said, you lose your peripheral vision. So you realize that maybe getting to the advanced stages, there are those people who will bump into things. They don't see things from their side. They will scratch the sides of their car and they'll swear they didn't see you. Yeah, so they will swear you weren't there. You just came in, but then you had been there. Yeah, so that is the problem with adults. It's asymptomatic. Maybe occasional eye pain here and there, but it's nothing worrying. Until you go to the hospital, we check your intraocular pressures. We check the back of your eye to examine your optic nerve. Then we'll be able to say whether you have glaucoma or not, or maybe you're a suspect, so we need to follow you up. For child, the good thing is that it is symptomatic. So like Akosia said, it comes with tearing and photophobia. So when they go out in the sun, they can't stand the sun because of the photophobia. Then their eyes begin to bulge out and they begin to lose their vision. So in those cases, parents can bring them to the hospital because they've seen
complete loss of vision.
Complete loss of vision. And I must say that a lot of people present, about 50% of people in Ghana present with end-stage glaucoma. And even in a study done in Accra here, about 17% present blind with glaucoma.
What is the reason to this, that people report cases late?
Because it's asymptomatic and people don't routinely check their eyes, and that is what we are advocating.
Can you have glaucoma and not experience any of these symptoms you've mentioned, and someone feels like he or she is okay?
Yes, so for the adult, typically, you because your central, it starts affecting the peripheral vision. And because we look straight ahead, your central vision is fine. So you don't check and see, can I see Akosia sitting on my left?
Any DIYs, at home tests that you can do to see if you...
No, there are no DIYs. What I can tell you, I had this patient who came in because at church people were complaining that he doesn't greet. And that is because he doesn't see them. So unless they were standing in front of him, he wasn't seeing them. So all the people at his sides, they greet and he doesn't see them.
So,
there's
so the person is
test at
completely
home.
blocked with sight on
the side.
on the sides.
Yes. So unless you are, it gets to a point. It's such a small tunnel vision. Unless you are exactly in front of him.
So I'm trying to get a picture of this, and I know, yes, picture, word, eyes. I'm trying to get. So what does the person see? You mean it's narrow? The person's vision is narrowed.
Exactly. So it's like you're looking in a tunnel.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you do this, so they don't see any other side.
Wow.
So it's just so it keeps
everywhere else
closing
is
in.
bled.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to be talking about treatment of this and then activities lined up for the week. But you can join us on 0302-211-693 or 694. We're talking about glaucoma. It's World Glaucoma Week, and this week has been set aside to create awareness on glaucoma. Join us in here. We're talking about also children identifying, or actually, well, taking into consideration your child's eye care, very important. Call us 0302-211-693 or 694. Let's talk about the treatment at various stages, right from just the early signs of identifying glaucoma, what is done as treatment, and then when it hits almost at end stage. I know you said when you try to save what is left, what do you do exactly?
So with children, the treatment is basically surgical treatment. So with children, there are various surgeries that are available that we do for children. With adults, you can have medical and surgical and laser, and they are all available in Ghana.
Why surgical for kids, and why the difference?
Yeah, because the kids in particular, the way the eyes present, when you give drugs, you can't open up the outflow unless the outflow for the fluids go out, unless you do surgeries. So kids, medical treatment, no, it's basically surgical treatment. But for adults, the way the eye is, if you give medical treatment, the outflow can be enhanced, or you can decrease the rate of production. And also, drugs have adverse effects. And in children, we try not to give too many drugs because of the adverse effects it may have on them.
Oh.
And again, looking at the costs, being cost effective.
Yes,
the
which I was
child is going to live for 60 years, and you're going to give medication for 60 years. It would have probably built the whole of Trasaco. So, because the drugs are not cheap, some are quite expensive too. So when you do the surgery, you have the intraocular pressures coming down, and then so it's a one-off thing, and it will save you a lot of money.
And when we say kids, to what age would we refer to persons as kids under the treatment of glaucoma?
So with, like, let's say primary congenital glaucoma, then you have children from 0 to like 3 years. And then from 4 years to about 35 years, we say you have juvenile glaucoma. And then above, we say you have primary open angle glaucoma. That's adult glaucoma.
So we're still researching on why we find Africans being, or let's say currently in Ghana, topping the charts when it comes to glaucoma. What is going to, let's switch over to the activities of this week, and what are some of the things lined up as well?
Okay, so we are doing free eye screening and then eye surgeries. We are doing it at Jiram Eye Clinic.
Free eye screening?
Yes, and eye surgery.
Okay, you didn't add free to the surgery, so I want to be sure. So free surgeries?
Yes, free surgeries. So if you have your national health insurance, that's all you need. Okay, so we are having it at Jiram Eye Hospital, Eye Clinic in Tema. Then we have St. Thomas Eye Clinic. It's also at Mataiko, Flamingo. Then Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and then 37 Teaching Hospital.
So this is
Lekma.
And Lekma. Well. So this is only for those in Accra, if I may ask. Are there any hostels as well, partner hostels, across the nation?
So as for the screening, it's nationwide. All ophthalmologists, we have an association called Ophthalmological Society of Ghana, and this week we are offering free eye screening. It's the surgeries that we've had only a few hospitals for now offering the free surgeries.
Let's list these hostels again for the purpose of those who probably...
So there's Lekma.
Okay.
Lekma, and then Jiram Eye Clinic, and then St. Thomas Eye Clinic, and then Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and 37 Teaching Hospital.
So how long is this going to last?
The whole week.
So we are ending on this weekend?
On Saturday.
On Saturday.
Yeah.
What has been reactions in the past? Reactions from do people generally come up to check, for glaucoma?
Yes. So now, younger people, those who really come and want to be screened are people who have a family history. Most of the time, it's a first-degree relative. Maybe their father or their mother or a sibling has glaucoma and they've gone blind from it. Then they'll walk into the hospital and say, I want to be screened. Sometimes, as ophthalmologists, when I see a patient with glaucoma, we advocate, we tell them that, oh, bring your relatives, your children, your nieces and nephews, come and let them have screening. Yes, so some people are warming up to the fact that they have to have eye screening, but majority of people are not routinely walking into the eye clinic and then saying that they want their eyes examined. So for any good eye hospital, when you see an ophthalmologist, would check your intraocular pressures, will look at the back of your eye as a primary routine
So
check.
I was going to ask, how is that done? How are these, checks done?
Okay, so intraocular pressures, we have a machine we call the slit lamp.
Okay.
So you put your head inside, and then in about 2-3 minutes, you've checked your intraocular pressures, and then we do a fundoscopy. So in about 5-10 minutes, we know whether you are a glaucoma suspect, you have glaucoma, or you are good to go.
Interesting. Wow. So
and I wanted to add on to what she was saying, that there's the opportunistic screening that ophthalmologists do. There are various cadres of people who work in eye care. There are ophthalmologists who are eye doctors and eye surgeons, and then there are optometrists who basically refract and give you spectacles and see some basic eye diseases, and we have as well. So glaucoma can be screened at that point, but it's mainly managed by ophthalmologists and sometimes ophthalmic nurses with the help of ophthalmologists.
Let me just quickly roll us back to this. Probably just, I know we've touched on it already, but I'm very sure lots of parents would want to. At what point in time, or what do you need to realize or see physically in your child before you'd want to, draw conclusions on, wow, I should be getting him or her to an ophthalmologist?
Yeah, okay. So the early signs, the tearing, and then you realize that when you go out,
tearing,
frequent tearing. The eyes are not red, but the child keeps tearing all the time. It's like they are constantly crying. But they are not.
Okay,
yes. And then photophobia. So when they get out into the sun, they can barely open their eyes, and then what we call blepharospasm. So these are the early signs. When you see this, you'd have to bring the child for an examination. So we would dilate the eye, and then we'll have a look at the back of the eye. We'll check the pressures and see if the child has glaucoma or not. The late stages is when the eyes begin to bulge out, because the eye is in an enclosed space. So if fluid is constantly getting inside without it coming out, it will expand sort of. So the eye becomes bigger, and then you have the black part of the eye becoming cloudy. It becomes white. So those are the later stages. So the early signs, when you see those signs, it's advisable that you bring the child to the hospital and then have a screening. If it's not glaucoma, or the better. If it is, then we take it from there. Okay,
so I was just tempted to ask about if there are any regular, maybe we keep on rubbing our eyes or itches. Nothing of such sorts should create cause for worry, for alarm.
No.
Okay. But ideally, you should screen your children
constantly. Okay, I'm going to come to have a call on the line now. I think it's Vida. Is it Vida?
Yes, dear.
Good morning, Vida. Vida, please talk to us.
I'm calling from Kapsua. I just want to ask, my daughter been itching his eyes, so that's the problem. I saw them on television, Joy Bram.
Sorry, I'm struggling to hear you. Can you speak up for me? What did you say?
Let me speak in Chi for you.
Okay, Pacho Kasawai.
So I'm asking, say.
Okay. Matthias, and that's a question I was asking about, constant rubbing of the eye. Is this something that's a cause?
Not necessarily for glaucoma, but I mean, it could have other effects on the eye. So once the child is rubbing consistently, you would have to have the eye checked out in the clinic.
So this week has been set for this. Up until Saturday, you can visit any of these hospitals for a free surgery. And I'm very sure they're already aware. So once you get there and you start making inquiries, you'll be taken through. Well, it's 0302-211-693 or 694. You can reach us out. We're talking about glaucoma, World Glaucoma Week. So this is something. Does it happen across various countries as well?
Yeah, so it's worldwide. It's a worldwide celebration. And in Ghana, one of the things we are also advocating for, I told you that Daisy talked about the cost of medication, trying to get some of the drugs on the NHIS, because we did an estimate, and we estimated that if you live with glaucoma for about 20 years, you will spend about $62,000.
Wow.
On medication alone. And this can be reduced if the most essential and the common drugs that we prescribe are put on the NHIS. Yeah.
I have another call on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Rebecca, please talk to us.
Please, I want to ask the doctors if your auntie or your grandma is suffering from past sickness, are you candidate to have it? Good morning.
Yes, thank you very much. We heard you loud and clear. Rebecca's asking about, if it's already in the family.
Yes. So that's what we are talking about, an aunt, a grandmother. So you are already at risk. So you should walk into an eye clinic and say, oh, my grandmother has glaucoma, my auntie has glaucoma, so I want to be screened. Yes, and then would have it done. So if you do have it,
how
then
often must one be doing an eye check or test?
So above the age of 40, every year you should have your eyes screened. Every year, at least every year, you should have your eyes screened.
Okay, well, so I'm sure you've picked up all the information. You also do understand how important this is for us to constantly have our eyes checked. I've been talking, I hope you haven't left anything out. We're supposed to let the public know about glaucoma and the activities that lined up.
That's basically it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, so let me pick another caller real quickly before we can wrap up. Belinda, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, Belinda, please talk to us.
Yeah, please. My daughter has this frequent itches the eye, and then at times you see tears coming from the eye. And then he feels this headache, part of the head. So I don't know what it is.
Okay, doctor's asking, how old is your daughter, please?
She will be 13 this year.
13. Okay,
Yeah.
Yes,
Doctors.
so like we said, if she's constantly itching the eye, complaining of headaches and tearing, you should baseline have an eye. It could be anything. It doesn't really fit glaucoma, but it could also be an allergic conjunctivitis, which has to be treated as well. Or maybe she has a refractive error, which also has to be treated. So she should have it.
There's an interesting question here about those persons who are constantly watching, who are always behind their computers and watching and direct lights,
So that course is good.
I watch on the TV.
Yes. Well, I have Faustina on the line as well. Faustina, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Faustina, please talk to us.
Okay. My patron, me 2 years. That's sorry, and then white me. Also,
white. No, I didn't.
Yes, and to us, me for some days, a woman as I am.
Okay. First year, that's why. So she's talking about, I don't know if you understood, she's talking about...
some discharge.
Yeah, discharge, yes.
So that sounds more like an infection, which she shouldn't be managing at home. So she should get the child to an eye clinic as soon as possible.
What do you think is the reason for, and I think I asked this question earlier on, we can just discuss it again, why there is a late reaction response to medical treatment when parents sometimes identify these issues at home?
So generally, you see, if I am having a headache and it's bad, I will seek medical care earlier than if my daughter says she has a headache. Because we are not experiencing it, sometimes we brush it aside until we see that, oh, this is really a problem. So general pediatric care, it's a problem in Ghana because we are not feeling it, and they depend on us to take them to the hospital. So until the parents or the guardian see that, hey, it's getting bad,
that's when they
send the child to the hospital.
I've got Felicity on the line. Felicity, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Phyllis. Please speak up for us. You can talk to us.
Okay, good morning. Please, there is something I want to ask the doctor. I have 11 years old child, and she's normally complain on the eye pain, especially when viewing on the screen. Yeah, I sent her to see a doctor, and the doctor examined, although when he conducted a snare reading, she did it perfectly well without any fault, but the doctor insisted that I should give the child a lens. So I want to ask if it is advisable, because there is nothing wrong according to their examination.
Okay. Thank you.
Apart from the child just reading the eye chart, there are other ways of doing the refraction that enables us to see the total refraction deficits of the child. Because sometimes the children strain to read. He may strain to read the sixes and is not comfortable reading the Snellen chart. So we do what we call cycloplegic refraction. That enables us to see the total deficits that the child has, and based on this, we prescribe the spectacles. Yeah.
Okay, I hope you are answered, Felicity. Now, there's a question here, and I think I was going to ask it as well. So please, I've been diagnosed, this is Precious from Alonga, says, I've been diagnosed of glaucoma and been given Timolol eye drops, but my eyes keep itching.
Yeah, so...
Which brings us to how long treatment takes.
Yeah, so drops are not without side effects. But you have to weigh the benefits against the risk or the uncomfortable feeling that you may have. And there are various drops available. So if one is not working, is not tolerable, is not bearable, we can always change to another form of drug. Yeah. Okay,
I've got Abigail calling. Abigail, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Abigail.
I have glaucoma too. And I'm 16 years old.
You are 16 years.
I've visited the eye clinic with my mommy for like 3 times. The first time they gave me eye drop, and then now they said the eye drop was giving me side effects, so they started giving me some drugs to drink. And then later they said that one too was giving me side effects, and so now I've stopped and I'm just there. Like, what should I do next? Now I have blurred vision too.
That's sad.
Wow.
That's rather sad.
Thank you, Abigail.
It's rather sad, but it's the story of a lot of glaucoma patients. Basically because, as we said, the drugs are not affordable. So they can't maintain the drugs for a long time. Sometimes they use it for a month, the next month they can't get the money. But when that happens, there's surgical treatments available. So she has to go back. If the drops are not working, the next step, they will discuss their surgical options. As we said, there are even laser options available. So she has to go back and discuss with the ophthalmologist. I'm sure there will definitely be a plan available for her.
Yes. So then, we should also understand that when you're living with glaucoma, it's not a 1, 2, 3 time visiting the hospital and then that's it. Even after surgery, you still have to. So you need some consistency because we want you to be 80 and, you know, do the things that 80-year-olds they do. You know, they are able to count their pension money and then they can go. They can visit the washroom on their own. So it takes patience, and it takes. That's why we are offering the free surgeries this week, so she can take advantage of it. And she's 16. She has a long way to go, so she needs patience and consistency to be able to get that vision that she should have. When she's older. Yeah.
Abigail, I'll actually encourage you to go back with your mommy and you know, enjoy the benefits of the week and you know, get a free screening and surgery. I have another one here from Jerry J from Cape Coast. Jerry J, good morning. Thank you very much for your message. It's asking if there's a total cure for glaucoma.
So there's no cure for glaucoma. It can only be managed. So we can treat and, as Daisy said, manage what percentage of nerves that you are left with. But it's irreversible loss. So the damage, the ones that are damaged, we can't do anything about it for now.
Elizabeth, I have your message here. We've already answered, but let me just read it out. You said, this is Elizabeth from Techi Dansuman. Elizabeth Techi from Dansuman, I beg your pardon. Says, good morning, please. I'm in the pharmaceutical field. Please, is it advisable to go to the pharmacy to get an eye drop when you feel itchiness or red eye?
No, so that's the problem we have for most Ghanaians. Over-the-counter medications, and sometimes what you're giving is not what you should have. And people, one of the risk factors for glaucoma is when you are consistently using what we call steroid eye drops. So the steroid eye drops are when you have an inflammation in the eye, and then when an ophthalmologist prescribes that for you, it's not forever. It's for a particular period, and then we wean you off because it has a tendency of increasing your intraocular pressure. But funny enough, most over-the-counter medication, you would want to, even for a pharmacy, you want to get a prescription from an eye care professional before you issue out the medication, because people have come with bad effects on the eye because they had over-the-counter medication they were not supposed to have.
Let me pick my last message here. This one says, good morning, please. I'm Gifty from Takrady. I have an 8-month-old baby and she keeps rubbing her eyes, which results in discharge. Please, what is the cause? And says, I also experience consistent blindness when I walk in the sun. Please, what's causing that? I think you need to seek medical care as quickly as possible. Yes. Well, thank you so very much. I've been talking to Dr. Daisy Siamasari from University of Ghana Medical Center. She's an ophthalmologist, and Dr. Akosia Mensah-Bonsu as well, an ophthalmologist, I beg your pardon, from Kolebu Teaching Hospital. They be my guests this morning as well. Please capitalize on the free health screening and the free surgeries as well, which ends just this Saturday, I believe.
Yeah, but the free screening, because of our genetic study, it's ongoing.
It's ongoing.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much this morning for being my guest. Still more time left on the show with you on Prime Morning. We're talking the Ghanaian folk tale. Do you know any folk tales? I should ask my doctors. Do you recall any stories? Any
Anansi stories?
Any Anansi stories? Have you heard something in recent times?
Yeah, not in recent time, when we're kids.
When they went to the tree and then he brought the coconut down.
The coconut down. Well,
by the fireside.
Yes, by the fireside. Yes, memories. But anyway, Roselyn takes us into the world of such conversations. So don't go away. We have more on Prime Morning.